Gonna use the space bar. Okay, so tonight, I don't know where my sheet is. Tonight we're going to talk about Lent. As you all know, it's the season of Lent already. It is now upon us. And what we want to do during this Lent is figure out what Lent means to us. And so you might understand vaguely, or maybe you do know what it means to you already, but this Lent we want to make sure that we know it better than the season before, so better than last year. And one theme of Lent, there's three themes. Tonight's theme we're going to focus on is sacrifice. And Lent for me, every time I think of Lent, sacrifice is always the very first thing I think of. Because when I was little, people would be like, oh, what are you giving up? And I'm like, I'm giving up chocolate. And then like the second day I would eat it. And so Lent is a time for us to focus on the sacrifice that Christ made for us on the cross. And this is also the sacrifice that we have is also for God. So here's a little definition of sacrifice that I whipped out of a dictionary. And it says, the act of offering ceremonially to a deity. So that's what we do during Lent. We give up something to please God. The slaughter of an animal or person. Okay, don't do that. The surrender of something valuable for the sake of something more important. So that's a really good definition also, and there's more, but let's read them. And there's my bibliography. Just waiting for it. Okay, so here's a little quote by Smith, and it says, giving up something good for something better. As I have studied great men and women from the beginning of time, the common denominator of greatness has been the ability and willingness to sacrifice for whatever they were trying to achieve. When sacrifice has been there, great humans have emerged. So this just shows that during Lent, it's time for us to grow as humans, because we sacrifice something that we normally wouldn't be able to live without, I guess. And after Lent, we just see how much we've improved from the very beginning. So that's just another reason we sacrifice. So, something good for something better. Something to ponder about. I won't explain it. Okay, so modern society thinks that sacrifice is something that you get as much as I can and make sure that I'm secure and comfortable. And this is not the point of sacrificing something. You want to sacrifice something in order to be uncomfortable. So I got a little equation here. You got secure plus comfortable equals and then comfortable and a little symbol that means with being uncomfortable. So what do you think the outcome for secure and comfortable is for your Lenten season? Okay, I'm just going to click it. Failure. And then what do you think being uncomfortable is?
Success.
Winning.
Oh. Also failure because you're comfortable.
Meaningful season of Lent. So in order to be uncomfortable, or the discomfort of being uncomfortable could be praying with your family. It could be awkward, and you might not like it very much, but it's worth it because you get a lot out of it. And this will make your season of Lent much more enjoyable, I guess, in the end. So why do we sacrifice? Sacrifice is a natural thing. A long time ago, people sacrificed things such as animals or people. Not like that today. But way back, everybody always gave up something. And it just reminds us that God is creator and we are his creations. And we sacrifice because we honor and reaffirm to God, our family, our neighbors, ourselves, that God is God and we are not. So we're doing something to please God and show him that we love him, and then we can give up something that we like on this world because we love him so much. It's the most important thing we must do during Lent because it shows God that we love him very much. And it helps us grow in virtue and also discipline. So we end up with a greater self-mastery, and we appreciate God's sacrifice for us also because we find it so hard to give up something little, whereas God gave up himself for our sins. So it just shows, we should appreciate what he did for us. So then we have our little classic questions, like what about Sundays? So when you get to Easter and you add all the days up from Ash Wednesday to Easter Sunday, it's more than 40 days. So technically, you only have to give up what you gave up Monday to Saturday, and Sunday's like a day off for you, which is great. I didn't know that until not that long ago. So you can kind of indulge in whatever you gave up on Sundays, but it's good to do it in moderation. So if you give up TV for Lent, and you normally watch like, okay, this is a rough example, like 15 hours of TV every week, you don't go on Sunday and wake up at 6 and watch 15 hours of TV, because that's not what Lent is about. You want to do it in moderation, so you're not just trying to gain all the things that you lost during the week. You still want to sacrifice. You want to stick with your sacrifice for Lent. And then another one. Oh no, that's a good question. So basically, this season of Lent, we want to give up something meaningful, and that discomforts us. And the more discomfort you have during Lent, the more meaningful your Lenten season will be, and you'll begin to see how much Lent should mean to you and God's love for you. So I hope you have a good Lenten season. Good luck with your sacrifices.